Good morning once again and welcome to Newsfile. This is your most authoritative news analysis platform. Let's get to my take, and I title Samson's take, Hijacked Democracy. That's a threat to the democracy. I've had cause to ask if Ghana was a failed state. This was when a regional minister was applauded by some for his unconstitutional and criminal conduct in supervising the violation of the dignity of citizens by making them squat and sweep dusty streets and flogged publicly for not using a footbridge. The law prescribing punishment for that offense was completely abandoned as officials turned themselves into police and courts. Some were whipped for breaching COVID-19 rules. Others, including poor pastors, were prosecuted and thrown into jail, of course, rescued by another church. At a time, leaders and influential persons broke same rules without any consequences at all. The state sanctioned resort to unlawful jungle justice in setting fire on expensive and badly needed excavators in the name of fighting galamsey. The law's mandatory instructions on how to seize such machines, place them under police custody, and procure court orders in distributing them to the state were ignored, and lame justifications were given. The ugly partisanship would rather we argue whether it was 5 and not 8 people who were killed in the 2020 elections, instead of seeking justice, even if it was 1 life lost. A commission nearly made mockery of the killing and maiming of unarmed protesters by state security, vigorously interrogating a journalist who dared to capture the shooting and finding excuses for the killers. The state taught us that a Ghanaian life was only worth a compensation amount of 250,000 Ghana cedis. Last week, I associated myself with better informed notable citizens who declare our democracy to be anything but a sham. On both occasions, I have had people in government and well-meaning citizens reach out to suggest I was somewhat out of character for asking if this was a failed state and describing the democracy a sham. Truth is, I was never out of character. Whatever that means, I reflect deeply about what I write and say in exercise of my chapters 5 and 6, Citizen Rights and Duties, as well as my Article 162 obligations as a member of the Fourth Estate of the Realm. I am not oblivious of functioning systems and the progress, however corruptibly, costly, and unpardonably slow. It is the wrongs that threaten this democratic project and progress. It can't escape any objective observer that the police is restoring confidence in its ability to fight crime and ensure the law is no respecter of persons. Sometimes it just feels like giving up on this project, but that also is not an option. We must be citizens and not spectators. If we stop the crime against the project, and we must definitely ensure that happens. The democracy or government is hijacked by the duopoly that has election machines or political parties by which state property is distributed as spoils of election victory. Elected officers hand management of sensitive jobs to people they will otherwise never offer a place in their private businesses. Health professionals and teachers earn and retire on pittance, while political office holders who do not want their children instructed by these teachers or use the hospitals earn many times more plus ex gratia every 4 years. pay civil servants 20% of their salaries, so they will work in compliance with the constitutional dictates and ethics of their jobs to be neutral, not participate in partisan political activities. Cocoa Board says we should applaud it for deciding to stop payment of inconvenience and overnight allowances. Hear that, inconvenience allowances, to its board of directors, because it just, quote, realized it didn't have express approval for those allowances, unquote, paid in addition to sitting allowances. And this is a state organization whose head is said to earn several times what the president gets in a month. The wickedness in the waste, the impunity and lawlessness that we see, that conduct explains why party supporters have been hacking opponents in internal elections. The police should be updating us what has become of the gentleman who was nearly killed in Dansoman, that's Ablekuma West, and almost a month after they announced the arrest of his assailants. I wept watching the video of those who were hacking their fellow human with cutlasses. The Nasara coordinator for Sisala West constituency, Musa Idrisu, who is battling for his life in hospital, is returning to the hospital for the second time. We are told that he had been attacked in a similar fashion and hospitalized not too long ago during the polling station elections there. They attacked him again last week, trying to kill him for allegedly purchasing a talisman to use in spiritually manipulating elections in favor of his candidate. This is a hijacked democracy, and that is a threat. That is my take. We'll be right back to deal with the vexed matters that we are canvassing for you this morning.